Attention Alliance Brass, it's N7 Day today, and that means your Heroinedesguise is here to save your role-playing experience with a build that brings this character's life work out of the shadows and out of this world. Today, I'm giving you a breakdown for playing as the Bad and Black Man himself, Agent J from the Men in Black in Mass Effect. Listen, I've been dying to do this build. I'd actually done the whole playthrough and recorded it back in 2020, but when I found out about the Mass Effect Trilogy remaster, I knew I had to do this build when the game came out. It will be the best of a new experience, and I obsessed over it endlessly. The Men in Black movies have always been among my favorite science fiction action comedies. I adore the cast, the performances, and the universe, and I absolutely cannot stop obsessing over how well these two universes mix. These universes are very similar. They both have themes circling humanity's place in the universe, aliens, advanced technology, space, the constant threat of invasion, and how to obtain and maintain coexistence. Since this build is basically a Men in Black fanfiction, it will incur some storytelling elements that effectively change the direction in which the films were heading. If you've never seen Men in Black 1, 2, or 3, then beware of spoilers, as I'll be comparing events from the film to Mass Effect, since the headcanon for this build requires Mass Effect to take place after Men in Black 3. However, I won't be covering anything from the cartoon or comics. And now, it's time to break this build down.
I don't know whether or not you've forgotten, but there's an alien battle cruiser about to...
There's always an alien battle cruiser or a Carillion death ray or an intergalactic plague that's about to wipe out life on this miserable little planet.
There are many lore bits we have to explain to make this build immersive, so I'll start with explaining why Agent J will be addressed as Commander Shepard throughout the game. As a member of a secret organization that polices and monitors alien activity on planet Earth and protects Earth from extraterrestrial threats, J has seen more than his fair share of combat, and he's had his share of accomplishments. He thwarted the attempted theft of a galaxy from bugs, thereby avoiding war with the Archelians in 1997. He captured Jara and stopped him from stealing Earth's ozone and selling it on the black market in 1997. He saved Earth from a Quilon invasion. He resolved the Zarthan-Kylothian conflict from 1978 in 2002 by returning the light of Zartha to the Zarthans and killing the Kylothian Serlina. He stopped the Bogladite invasion of 2012 by time traveling to 1969 and making sure Boris the animal,
It's just Boris,
is defeated. These many feats before the First Contact War must have impacted his rank when he joined the Alliance military. That, coupled with his heroism during the Blitz, along with many other missions on behalf of the Alliance, had earned him the official rank of Commander. As for the codename Shepard, the Men in Black guided peaceful coexistence between humans and aliens. They also manipulated the truth and memories of anyone who would discover the existence of aliens,
All right, Beatrice. There was no alien.
keeping the wool over their eyes, so to speak, guiding sheep, but not in a malevolent way. Still, sheep are guided and protected by a shepherd.
Would you stop that?
What?
That thing is gonna give her brain cancer or something. How many times have you flashy thing that poor woman?
Couple.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to.
Kill me.
No. No, just a little flash and everything goes back the way it was.
The next lore bit to address is the first contact between humans and aliens. In the Men in Black timeline, first contact with aliens happened in March of 1961. These aliens were the Vultians, and according to the timeline, this first contact did not result in a war.
Oh, you brought that tall man some flowers.
However, the first contact war with the Turians will be named as such because 1, the first contact with the Turians ended in violence and started a war, and 2, the scale of the war was too great for the Men in Black to keep a secret. Humanity ultimately takes notice and is exposed to a truth that will not be denied due to the length of time the war persisted. And with the military's need to combat the Turians to keep Earth safe, and there are explorers in space, this of course becomes a topic that people around the world will want to cover and stay aware of. As such, the media will be well informed on the events that occur in space. And even with the Men in Black infiltrating and neuralizing scientists and journalists, something will fall through the cracks, and humanity's appetite for progress and exploration will prevail in the end. Following the trend of humanity discovering the existence of aliens is a change to Men in Black policy. Things like neuralization, an integral part to maintaining secrecy, is no longer needed. Neither is the notion that you do not exist to the public eye. You're allowed to be known, remembered, cared for even. The Men in Black will reintegrate into society. It was very apparent in the films that even though Jay loved his job, he was lonely and craved companionship.
If I see you again, will I know it's you?
I'll see you. But you won't see me.
Must be hard. Must be very lonely.
Just as Kay did. He never forgot about the woman he loved and was willing to leave the Men in Black behind to live a socially active life. A life where you can matter to someone and where you don't have to remain a secret while putting your life on the line every day for people who are not allowed to recognize or appreciate you. This makes developing a romantic relationship with one of your companions more impactful. It's a new feeling for Jay. The last time he developed feelings for someone, he intentionally violated.
MIB Procedural Code 773.
And he still had to say goodbye to her forever by the end of the film.
It's not fair.
Never is.
When Jay was brought into MIB headquarters after being recruited, he asked Kay what branch of the government they report to.
None. I asked too many questions.
Well, now that the Men in Black are recognized as a government branch, and since they've teamed up with the Alliance military to continue monitoring the coexistence of aliens and humans, they now report to the Alliance military and the chain of command within, as well as the Galactic Council on the Citadel. And last but not least, the last suit Jay will ever wear gets some major modifications.
I make this look good.
When making Agent J as Commander Shepard, I used his appearance in Men in Black 3 for my reference because Commander Shepard's timeline picks up where Jay's left off, so they're not low-ranking members of their operations. They've been around a while. Also, when we consider the headcanon of Jay being stuck in cryosleep Fallout 4 style, then the age difference still doesn't add up since we're playing in Mass Effect 1 specifically as a chronological start of the Mass Effect series, but Shepard is 28 or 29 years old when it starts and Agent J is 47 by Men in Black 3, but don't mind that. I chose Jay's upbringing based on the information he gives us in the movies. His father disappeared one day and he never knew why.
I used to play a game with my dad called Catch. So I would throw the ball and it would just hit the wall because he wasn't there. I didn't really know him.
There was no mention of his mother, so either she raised him and he had nothing to say about her, or he was an orphan after his dad died. But either way, he becomes a police officer in the future. So since I know not what happened to his mother, my options were that he followed his parents' footsteps and joined the military, or that he was raised on the streets and joined the military. I found the second one made more sense with all his government records being deleted in MIB. When determining the backstory for Jay's character in the Mass Effect universe, I encountered a small hiccup with his personality type. In MIB, Zed acknowledges Jay's problem with authority.
He's got a real problem with authority.
Jay says what he thinks, does what he thinks he should do, and he has total confidence in his judgment if he thinks it'll lead him to success. There isn't necessarily anything wrong with that, but it's more consistent with the ruthless personality type in the profile reconstruction section of character creation. Someone who's considered careless, reckless, brutal, and extreme if it means getting their job done. It's obvious that Jay hasn't always valued secrecy or keeping damage to a minimum. He fires his advanced weapons in front of the public, he causes damage to vehicles and buildings, and generally makes a scene wherever he goes, even before joining the Men in Black.
We do not discharge our weapons in view of the public. Man, we ain't got time for this cover-up bullshit.
If you consider the way the Council critiques Shepard's actions after each mission, he could be considered the ruthless type. However, all of the major feats and successes Jay's had over the films also reflect his selflessness and bravery, and this is reflective of the war hero personality type. Now this could just be me overthinking things, but I like to be as consistent with the reference as I can be when making builds. So if you try this build out, I leave that decision up to you, but I personally went with the war hero personality type.
Say it again.
You want me to?
I dare you.
One of the best parts about Mass Effect and Men in Black is the dialogue. The way the characters interact with one another,
Hey, Kay, have you ever flashy thing me?
No.
I ain't playing with you, Kay. Have you ever flashy thing me?
No.
Commander, I'm not happy.
Sounds like a fairly common situation.
The serious and heartfelt conversations.
When you look up at the stars at night, you get a feeling deep down in your gut like you don't know who you are. Like you know more about what's going on out there than you do down here. That's why she left you, Kay. That's why your wife left you.
Jay's personality and the translation of it into the game works wonderfully. Jay says what he thinks, and Shepard is obviously not afraid to speak his mind either. Jay is quick thinking, and he lies easily because he has to change people's memories. If Shepard has to lie to protect his interests, such as deals with people or information, then he'll lie to maintain the course. Jay sounds hilarious almost all of the time, but that doesn't diminish his character at all. Even when Shepard is serious, things he says can sound hilarious because of the situation.
I didn't mean to. Are you hurt?
You can't go firing your weapon at everything that moves. What the hell's wrong with you?
Sorry. I thought you were one of them.
Here's a tip. 2 eyes, human. 4 eyes, Batarian.
Yeah, okay.
They can mean well and sound like jerks. They can tell their rookie partners the truth about themselves and the importance of their job.
Why did you join MIB?
6 years in the Marines. I like to serve, I like the action, protect the planet.
Like being a hero. Then you joined the wrong organization.
This mission isn't about personal glory, Corporal. We have a job to do. Don't do anything stupid to mess it up.
And regardless of the chain of command, they can tell their superiors to get off their backs and not have a second thought about it.
And to be honest, I'd appreciate it if you eased up off my back about it.
I would have told you that if you hadn't jumped down my throat.
There are some situations that resemble the film simply because of how many ways each encounter can play out in the game. For example, in MIB, J and K go to Jeeves to question him on selling illegal guns. On the Citadel, there's a side quest where you can help a CSEC officer buy illegal guns as evidence to put the criminals away. You could oblige and go through with the deal, or you can...
I'll just take the weapons.
The hell are you playing at?
Sorry, Jax. This is the end for you.
Stupid.
What the hell happened down there, Commander?
The dialogue synchronicity is only enhanced with the cutscenes in-game that line up with scenes in the films. There's a scene where the main threat is prophesied by a witness to the impending doom.
He's coming. The destroyers, bringers of darkness, heralds of our extinction.
You don't understand. Your world's gonna end.
The age of humanity is ended. Soon, only ruin and corpses will remain.
There's a hostage scene involving a doctor, an assailant, the main character, and his reinforcements.
Freeze it, bud.
Christ, you are thick!
Keep your mouth shut, or who are you?
Let her go.
Ah!
Heck, the introduction scene of Mass Effect is basically the same as the scene where Zed and Agent K discuss recruiting Jay over anyone else.
We can't question his courage.
Humanity needs a hero, and Shepard's the best we've got.
I'll make the call.
He's got a real problem with authority.
So do I. But this kid ran down a cephalopoid. On foot, boss. That's got to be tough enough.
Let's hope you know what you're doing.
Depending on your dialogue choices, there are scenes where Jay's confidence and his authoritative issues are very apparent.
First off, you chose me, so you recognize the skills.
It was a Turian Spectre who betrayed this council, and it was a human who exposed him. I've earned this.
And if you're still not convinced, just listen to the description of the bad guy in Men in Black.
Imagine a giant cockroach with unlimited strength, a massive inferiority complex, and a real short temper.
And tell me this rant that the bug makes during Men in Black doesn't match Saren's perception of humanity or many of the other aliens in the galaxy.
You know, I've noticed an infestation here. Everywhere I look, in fact, nothing but undeveloped, unevolved, barely conscious pond scum. Totally convinced of their own superiority as they scurry about their short, pointless lives.
Well, yeah. Don't you want to get rid of them?
The worst way.
In my opinion, the branching dialogue options for Mass Effect and the results they create greatly enhances the feel of this build when comparing scenes to the movies.
Hey, you're not alone in the universe.
Remove the arm. Okay.
The companions available in Mass Effect are unique because you can have alien party members. which is perfect because at MIB, Jay worked with and dealt with aliens all the time. With alien existence becoming public and people venturing out beyond the stars to live a new life, you're bound to run into all sorts of personality types. For example, Ashley is a racist, xenophobic person, and it's written all over her character, no pun intended. But Jay's used to aliens and he has his own opinions of them. He knew there was a reason their existence was kept a secret, and people like Ashley and Navigator Presley are one of the reasons why.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart, they can handle it.
The person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
I'll admit, this is an oversimplification of Ashley's character, but it's incredibly easy to feel this way about her. She does have some genuine belief that humanity should look out for themselves because it's foolish to think that other races will when we need them, which is fair, but there's a difference between keeping the interests of humanity as a priority and mistreating aliens with immediate hostility and distrust. If you don't think an alien is gonna take a bullet for you, that's fine, but that doesn't mean they're on your ship just to blow it up. When you're getting nitpicky about a Krogan and a Turian being on the ship just because they're near the reactor, then you need to take a few chill pills. There's a chance Jay could probably get her to be less hostile towards aliens, Liara especially, but that's up to you to decide if Jay thinks it's worth his time. He's dedicated his life to a job that intended to harbor peace and coexistence between humans and aliens. So I'm sure in his mind, it's as simple as,
Don't start nothing. Won't be nothing.
On the other hand, it's no secret that humans are not treated well by other races. They feel humans are given too much too soon, or they feel humans are just a blight on the galaxy and should never have evolved to their level in the first place.
Human thought is so primitive, it's looked upon as an infectious disease in some of the better galaxies.
I'm sure characters like Rex would like Jay's sarcastic and fearless tone, and he has the past to back that fearlessness up.
I never run out on a fight.
Honestly, who doesn't want Rex to like them? He's one of the most likable companions in the game. But one thing that makes Rex stand out among the Krogan is that he recognizes the threat to his species' survival. And he spent time trying to keep his people away from war and carnage long enough to ensure they wouldn't go extinct. And that ability to put your natural instinct aside for the bigger picture is highly respectable and something Jay and Rex will be tried on in the future. Jay and Garrus could bond over what it was like to be in law enforcement, and how sometimes the law gets in the way of doing your job. They could probably relate to one another more when it comes to their experiences with other aliens as well. I find it odd that Garrus' loyalty missions are always centered around hunting down some suspect he thinks he's after, but doesn't seem to have the proof to back it up to the others in command. And because of that, there's this line you have to choose to cross. Do you help your friend hunt down this person on a hunch, or do you feel he may be wrong and try to stop him? I imagine if Liara were to be pursued as a love interest, Jay would see a lot of Lara in her. Not just because she can make him see her as human, although I doubt Liara would do that, but because both of these women were aliens who believed in the truth of the universe.
I felt drawn to the past. The Protheans were these wondrous, mysterious figures. I wanted to know everything about them.
Look, when we're kids, before we're taught how to think or what to believe, our hearts tell us that there is something else out there. Now, I know what I saw. You tell me what I'm supposed to believe.
These traits lined up with Jay's line of work, and these women were able to make a real connection with Jay despite his line of work. Not to mention, Liara has an isolating profession as an archaeologist, and she talks about preferring to be alone most times, and how she's socially awkward. Jay could understand these feelings as well with his job and with his history with past partners. They didn't seem to stick around for long, either because they were lonely or because Jay didn't want them as a partner. There's also the common ground of being fatherless that they share. Jay didn't really know his dad. As far as he knew, he left suddenly. Liara never knew her father and assumed they were probably too ashamed of having a pureblood Asari, but it seems Liara will never know the truth to that either. If she doesn't become a love interest, they'll still have plenty in common to make a lasting friendship. Kaidan focuses a lot on politics and the many ways humans and aliens relate to one another. If anyone in the game could believe in separate but equal, it would be him and Garrus. He also discusses the injustice of how people are given biotic abilities, but as far as the events of Mass Effect 1 goes, there's not much more to his story. Tali cares mostly about stopping the Reaper threat because the Geth are involved, a product of her people's creation, aiding in the destruction of organic life in the name of another race of machines. I'm sure she must feel that her people are responsible for their role in this to a degree, and based on the events of MIB 2 and 3, Jay knows what it's like when someone's past mistakes comes back to haunt their future. with his mentor Kay creating 2 separate possible invasions because of his decision to violate Earth's neutrality during the Zarthan-Kylothian dilemma, and when he refused to kill Boris the animal.
It's just Boris.
Jay did everything in his power to help Kay fix those mistakes. I'm sure it was out of his duty as an MIB agent and the bond he had with Kay, but when it comes to Tali echoing this theme of rectifying past mistakes throughout the entire Mass Effect trilogy, you can decide if Jay is willing to help. Now, it's obvious from the movies that Jay either prefers to work with Kay or work alone. He was recruited and trained by him, he was both a father figure and a mentor despite his shortcomings, and it's clear Jay had a great deal of care for him, and when Kay left, Jay probably felt more alone than ever, having been brought into a shadow organization where you're not allowed to have a connection with anyone outside of it, and then essentially being abandoned by his trainer because he wanted a life of his own eventually. He felt a great deal of mistrust with Kay during MIB 3 because Kay was trying to protect him from the truth of what happened to his father and other things, while Boris the animal,
it's just Boris,
was hunting Kay down. So with all of that in mind, I can imagine Jay being maybe a little standoffish at first to his new companions, or at the very least he's not sure how to connect with them. But eventually, it will become integral to the success of his mission to earn the loyalty of these companions. Interestingly enough, I don't consider combat the star of the show with this build. I find the dialogue, story, and the overall transformation of what we know the Men in Black to represent is what makes me love this experience. But one thing I can appreciate about having done this build is that it pushed me outside of my comfort zone with Mass Effect. In case it wasn't clear by now, I love superpowers. I love magic, advanced technology, the supernatural, aliens, anything that makes me more than human. So typically when I play Mass Effect with an OC, I usually choose a biotic or engineer or a hybrid class like a Vanguard or Sentinel. But Jay is just a normal athletic man with firearms and training. So the obvious class was a soldier. Sure, the Men in Black does have advanced technology, but aside from fancy guns, the transforming Incredibile, and the Neuralizer, no other advanced tech is implemented in the field during combat. If you really wanted to implement the advanced tech into the build, you can make Jay an infiltrator, maybe an engineer, but that may lean a little too heavily on the tech side. But in my eyes, the Soldier's class was the way to go, and I appreciate this push so much because I'm not sure any other build would have made me enjoy that class so much. I struggled quite a bit without my own powers and having to rely on my team members way more than I feel I would have if I were the one with crowd control or anti-geth tech. And that alone made me appreciate having alien companions and companions with biotics or tech skills. But the struggling was so on par with Agent J, it was unreal. I died so many times and I couldn't even be mad.
He took your gun.
Yeah?
Cracked you on the head.
And?
Slammed you across the room. Half the time you were on your back.
That's how I fight.
By the end of the game, I was in tune with this class and this build. I fought and organized my team more tactfully, based on what power balance they offered the team and based on the mission, instead of which people I liked being around more. I found taking cover much more valuable, I found enhancing my weapons and applying mods more valuable, and above all, I felt immersed in each battle because I felt like I was taking more risks simply because I wasn't more than human. The skills that I invested in heavily were pistols, assault rifles, assault training, combat armor, charm, intimidation, Spectre training, shock trooper, fitness, and first aid. By the end of the game, Jay was nothing more than a figment of his enemy's imagination, a feeling of deja vu and nothing more, because he took them all out. And he'll be ready to do much more to the Reapers, Collectors, and Cerberus in the following games. I can't stress how much fun I had with this build. If you've never seen the Men in Black movies, or if you're wondering what build to use for your first or second run through of the Mass Effect series or the Legendary Edition, I urge you all to try this. You can even be Agent K if you want it. Timeline and lore aside, I'd love to see a Tommy Lee Jones look-alike in an N7 uniform. Emotionless, business-oriented, and distant, just like the Mel Shepherd voice actor sounds all the time, no matter what the situation is.
No, ma'am, we at the FBI do not have a sense of humor we're aware of. May we come in?
And for today's tribute, I decided to focus on the shift in how Jay fulfills his role by showcasing the N7 armor among the black suits he wore for years. I wanted it to look mildly cinematic. I hope you guys enjoy it. I absolutely adored the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect. The gameplay and graphical changes were very welcome, but I'll always have a place in my heart for the original trilogy as it was. That being said, I've only played Mass Effect 1 for this build, but I'm planning to do some sort of Let's Play for Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 as Agent J. I couldn't bring myself to start a whole new journey in the Mass Effect universe, only to stop at the build breakdown. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more Mass Effect videos. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for your Heroine Disguise, and I'll be someone else next time.